hope that you are doing amazing, great, phenomenal, dope-tastic. Hi! Okay, so let's get into the tea of the show. The tea of the show is a de-stress tea. Felt like it was extremely appropriate for what the actual theme of the show is. And segueing into that, the actual tea of the show is going to be letting God, okay? So this past weekend, I went back to visit my alma mater and went to go visit some friends, go see a musical, essentially just kind of go back to where I feel like I left myself every so often. I feel that way, and so I decided to go back. And part of that greatness was going back to the church that I had made my church home while I was at school. And that was super, super great. So I think this episode, what I kind of want to do is talk about my perspective when it comes to religion, spirituality. I don't want it to be super big thing, so we might end up coming back to this a couple of times. But let's just kind of talk about it a little bit. So I am pretty non-denominational, but the church that I identify with at the moment is the United Methodist Christian church. And the reason that I really identify, I think I found a home in that church more than I found in that denomination. But the reason I identify with that, I even got like the three, essentially she narrowed it down to like 3 rules. And that's kind of nice, because I feel like oftentimes when you're in spirituality and in like religion, even more so, there's so many rules and there's so many strictures and there's so many things that you're trying to fit within. And so it was nice for me to just get that reduced to 3. And so the 3 rules: do good, do no harm, stay in love with God. But I changed it to stay in love with the holy ones, because the Trinity is extremely important to me. Each one of them have their own kind of identity and personality, even though they're interconnected. To me, that's how I feel. So it was important to me to make sure that they were all accounted for in the tattoo that I have stating the rules. So yeah, those are the rules that I live by when it comes to religion, spirituality, all that jazz, life itself. Because I think it's extremely important to be good in a lot of different ways. To be good with yourself, to be good with God, to be good to others. I think that's a state of being, is being good, you know. That's why I say be good, Lovies, at the end of the show. And, do no harm. I think that's extremely important, because even if you do harm, balance it out with good. Like, just make sure make sure that balance is being maintained, is what I try to do. And then stay in love with the Holy One. I don't know. I like it because it's not just asking you to follow blindly. It's asking you to be in love. And not only just fall in love, to stay in love, which is consistent work and commitment on, both sides to maintain a relationship. And I think that's beautiful. So those are the rules that I follow. When it comes to religion, I think I'm probably more spiritual than religious, because for me, I'm not a huge rule authority type of chick. That's not really my jam. I do see the usefulness in it. I do see the communitas and the communal nature and the coming together and common goals and common purposes and common beliefs, and I get that and support that. But I think it is quite easy to be in religion and let religion make you hate your humanity and hate the fact that you're human, but you have no choice but to be that. You have no choice but to be human. So I think to spend so much time hating it and denigrating it and being down on yourself for being human, I don't think that that's part of the experience. I don't think that's part of what the powers that be wanted. I am comfortable with saying that God is an omnipresent, omnipotent individual. does not have to be male for me. I was taught male, so you'll hear me say he more often than not. But there are times in my life I prescribe to the God that I need at that time, essentially. So there have been times in my life where I needed a woman, and that's who I identified with, and that was my God. And I find no disconnect in our relationship by having that be. There have been times where he has Morgan Freeman's face. Like, it just depends whatever it is I need at that time, or how he wants to come to me. I think Jesus is an amalgamation of all the races and all the ethnicities and all the builds and all the bodies. I think when you put them all in a pot and you find the median, that's what Jesus looks like to me in my head. So no, I do not prescribe to white Jesus. And when it comes to the Holy Spirit, when I see it in my head, I see it kind of like the colors of the wind from Pocahontas. That's how I identify the Holy Spirit. I think it's important for you to find God and spirituality, whatever you want to call it. I think it's important for you to find the powers that be, because I also identify with the universe. I also think the universe is a presence as well. And oftentimes, if something is working for me, but it's something that I wouldn't. So like if someone does something to me and then something happens to them, I'm not going to be like, haha, God got you. But I'll be like, the universe loves it some me, you know. So that's kind of how I have that separation happening. But what I was going to say is, it is amazing to go and find God wherever you need to find them. That way we're not gendering it too much. Like, when I used to talk to my pastor, she used to say it was totally okay, because I used to be concerned about losing that spirituality when I would travel, and that fear of coming back and feeling like I had been away and had stepped away from the Lord for so long. And so when I went to go talk to my pastor, she kind of was like, look, my cup says, but first, Jesus. I have a terrible attention span today. Let's focus. Find God wherever you need to find God, okay? If that's going on a walk, if that is, of course, reading your Bible, if it's looking at the sky, if it's sailing on a boat, if it is reading a book, I find God in He Lives in You from The Lion King, like that spiritually. The Prince of Egypt, I find extremely spiritual as a film for me. So it just depends, whatever you need to do, wherever you need to find Him. Oftentimes after I work out, I lay down and meditate, and I'll receive what I need to receive from myself, and then I receive from the universe and from God. So yeah. What else? My favorite Bible verse, I think it's Matthew 6:34 or 36. One of those. Essentially, it's the one that says, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. That one is my favorite. I tend to be a worrying person, which is why this episode is called Letting God, because the other part of that is like letting go, right? And so talking to, just this whole weekend for me was about letting go of a lot of stuff. Like, I essentially feel like I got hollowed out of a lot of things that I didn't need to keep anymore. Like the fear for my future, and because essentially fear of the future is not trusting God, right? Which is unacceptable. So I decided to let that go and lay that on the altar, especially my fears about grad school and all that stuff. And then I had to let go of the stuff that happened with my ex, and let go of how people who are close to me have hurt me since I've graduated and before I graduated, and let go of my idea of what my life should look like, what my idea of my own success is. And because it can be intrinsic, is what I discovered this weekend. It's fine for your success, your idea of success. God, said that he is well pleased with you. For it to come from this ethereal being and then within you, right? Because I had kind of been saying, I think I'm pretty and that's enough. I think I'm smart, I think I'm successful, and that's enough. No. It's not like the statement anymore. The statement is, it only matters if God and I think I am. So it only matters. Not it's just enough. It only matters if God and I think I'm pretty. If God and I think I'm a good singer. If God and I think we gonna make this work, whatever direction or dream we're trying to go with. I also figured out that I was trying to be my own God in certain senses, right? Because it was kind of like, okay, well, I have this idea of how I need life to go and how I want it to look, and God and I were not seeing the same thing. And I'm like, sir, why? What's going on? You and I are usually pretty good at being on sync with each other. And that's why I played eye to eye at the beginning of this video, because essentially I've been praying for him to see things how I see them, for him to the direction and in the timing that I want those things to happen. And that's not okay. It's not good. It's not. I am God's beloved creation. He will guide me, not the other way around. What else? I've learned, essentially, as I said, I was a worry wart. So when I talk to my pastor, most of the time, what she has to get across to me is that Jesus said relax. Like, it's a lot. You're doing a lot. 9.999 out of 10 of the things that I worry about, or the things that I come to her or anyone else pretty much about, are things that she's like, not a problem. That's okay. Even when I went to therapy, and I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure that this is something that needs work. And my therapist was like, yeah, no. Don't see anything wrong here. Think you're doing all right. So relax. I think a lot of the stuff that we're, especially at this time of life, dealing with and trying to figure out, they're really not that. You're okay. You're good is what I'm learning right now. It's not like you're doing nothing. It's not like you're stagnating. You're moving forward. You just may not be moving forward in the way you thought you were going to move forward, which is okay, as long as it's in alignment with the powers that be. Well, let's see. The other tattoo that I have that is like my religious tattoo. I think I have about 3 religious tattoos. Then the other tattoo says, look at your life through heaven's eyes. 'Tis a song lyric from Prince of Egypt. I am extremely proud of it. And your life is in red. The rest of it's in black, but your life is in red. And the reason that I needed that was because I was graduating. I got it my graduation day, graduation night. And I just needed to remind myself to, one, look at my life through heaven's eyes, in the sense that chances are, whatever I'm getting down in on myself about, it's okay, and I'm doing well, and I'm doing good. And it was this time where something was monumental happening in my life, and I still didn't feel like I had earned it, really. And so that was one thing. And the other thing, as to why your life is in red, I needed to remind myself that my life is special. Look at your life through heaven's eyes, right? Like, just because somebody over here is having a different experience, or they seem farther than I feel like I am, or they seem like they're in a different place, and I'm like, oh, well, I'm moving too fast and I don't want to do this at this point, whatever it is, or I'm like, oh man, I have all these dreams and hopes, what if these dreams don't come true? Your life, look at your life through heaven's eyes. It's not going to look like anyone else's. This journey isn't going to be like anyone else's. So you have to identify it and separate it from that comparison, because comparison is the thief of joy. Right? So you have that. that is something that I've learned over my run. Know what you guys think. Y'all definitely more than welcome to put comments or ask questions or share and subscribe and get conversations going in your communities and all that jazz. Main thing, and I have 2 other tattoos that says, I'm telling you, my tattoos are pretty much my life lessons. But love. That is the thing. That's what I move in. That's what I move throughout. That's what I preach and hope and help and try and work through. So just love. And that's again why I call you guys Lovies. Like, this whole show is ingrained with that spirituality. So yeah. Also, another great thing, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but just to kind of show you where my mind is, one of the best things someone has ever said to me, someone said to me at work earlier this week, and they said, you bring out the God in me. And that was one of the best things anyone has ever said to me before. Yeah, that was beautiful to hear. So I think if I had to sum some stuff up, I would say, Jesus said relax, do good, do no harm, stay in love with the holy ones. Your life is special. Your life is different. God has ordered your steps, and He has beautiful things in store for you to trust and to believe in and to remain faithful in. Yeah. So let's go ahead and shift. Let's shift to the next part of the show, which is our Infuse It. And so for our Infuse It, this time around, I am going to suggest, I've been really on my musical kick lately. So I'm going to suggest that if you have not listened to Hamilton, because I just opened up, I had the CDs already. I asked my mom to give me some new ones because those got scratched. So if you haven't engaged with the Hamilton album, check that out. I am obsessed. Will continuously be obsessed. It's one of the places that I saw God. It changed my life for a year. It is to make sure that you are connecting. I don't care like what your religion is. I genuinely believe they're all kind of the same thing anyway. I think it could be like the same God, and we're just had different interpretations and different messengers. But regardless, whoever you prescribe to, as long as it's somebody who's like down with being nice to people and loving each other, connect with that individual, connect with that being, right? Have that sense of, because otherwise you feel detached and you feel ungrounded and you feel this sense of without and loss almost. And I think you often lose yourself when you're not connected to the individual that created you. So that is your call to action. Whatever way you need to reconnect with that individual, I don't care if it's, I'm gonna leave that alone. But whatever you do to connect with your higher being, as long as it is safe and healthy and beautiful, then you should connect with that individual. Yeah. Be good, Lovies.